another GCSE Computer Science video with me, Mr Goff, from MrGoff.com. Today's video focuses on the programming constructs of sequence and selection. Programming constructs are the basic structures we combine to create more complex programs. The three basic constructs you need to be familiar with are sequence, selection, and iteration. If you go on to A level, you might also start to learn about recursion. Sequence is the simplest of these structures. It simply means that in the absence of one of our other structures, we should execute code one line after the next. Selection is a construct that allows our programs to take a different path depending on the result of a Boolean check. A Boolean check is when we make a comparison that can result in either true or false. By performing such a check, we can decide which code, if any, should be executed, therefore allowing our program to take different paths. The simplest form of selection is a basic if statement. In this situation, either some code is executed or nothing happens and we move on to the next section of code in the program. In this example, if the user enters the name Bob, then the program will output "Hi, I'm Bob too." In all other instances, it will just move on to the next line of code in the program. With the if-else structure, some code will always be executed. The code that executes if our condition is true will be in the if section, and the code that we want to execute if our condition is false will be in the else section. In this example, if the user enters Bob, they still receive the greeting "Hi, I'm Bob too," but everyone who enters a different name also receives a personalized greeting. Else if can only appear after an if condition. It allows us to check a number of other conditions that we want to specify. You can decide whether or not to include an else. This means we might check a number of conditions, and if any of them are met, we will do something, or we might have a fallback position with an else where no matter what someone does or what code has been entered, we will still have some sort of output generated. The conditions of an if statement with else if conditions are checked in order. The if statement ends after evaluating any condition as true and executing its associated code. This is why in the example below, we don't need to say else if the score is greater than or equal to 30 and less than 40, because we know that it wouldn't have got to this stage of the if statement had it been greater than 40. Sometimes there will be a need to build more complex Boolean expressions. You can do this with logical operators. Using a logical AND, you can specify that both conditions must be true. Using a logical OR, you can make something happen if either condition is met. And using a logical NOT, we can check if something is not met. Nesting, which is putting one programming construct inside of another, is a very important tool in making complex programs. Many of the checks we can perform by using Boolean expressions can also be achieved by using nesting. You can see this in the examples below, which both output car details if the car has greater than 2 doors and is either blue or black. That concludes this video on sequence and selection. Join me again soon for a video on iteration. I've been Mr Goff from MrGoff.com. Bye for now.